Good evening, my lovelies. We are trying to get all of our stuff out and ready for what we're doing tonight, because I have a bit of a challenge for myself. My husband over at Captain Kyle Games, if you're into watching game streams, I definitely suggest you go take a look at him. He has a logo in his head that he wants created. So I'm going to do my best to make that dream a reality. Now the kicker with that is I have a few images up to help me figure out what he wants done, which is all well and good. The only bad thing is I'm going off of a screenshot or two from Minecraft. And on top of that, I also have the fact that the images aren't the best for his own personal skin. Because my spouse likes to use a Dead Space skin, which is, there's no problem with using a Dead Space skin. I enjoy watching him play Dead Space and squeal like a little girl because things jump out at him at the screen. I think it's funny. But on the flip side, I've got to figure out how to make him a logo on the fly. So, if you looked and saw my sketch earlier, that was in various locations, to be fair, you can see what I'm going to be making. Unfortunately, I tried coloring in my logo, and it looks really, really bad, in my opinion, because it doesn't. I don't have enough colors when it comes to my markers to make that look pretty. So we're gonna ignore the fact that I tried putting color in it myself, because I think that would be best, and kind of just jump right into it. I am going to need it, though, to follow my pattern. It's not going to be very big. It's probably going to just fit this barely, because if it's small enough there, and this piece of Aida cloth actually covers it, this is definitely going to be bigger than what we need. If you remember our crazy math lesson from like the last time we streamed, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, I think the best place to start is going to be this visor. It seems to be the middle of our of this whole mess. And I think our best bet is going to be this light blue. Give this puppy a chance and see if it's what we need. Now this is my mother-in-law's Floss. She was kind enough to let me raid her collection tonight because we're both very crafty people, and she's been a crafty person longer than I've been alive. So she's got quite the collection. The rule in our household is don't go buy stuff until you've gone to her house first, because you never know what she already has hidden away in her craft rooms. This woman has like 2 or 3 craft rooms in her house, which I am very envious of. I think that's completely awesome. So, we're going to take that, and we're just going to kind of dive right in. This seems like a good spot. We're going to start with these little bits. Go down, go across, dink, go back, go up. If for any reason I'm trying a new thing, when it comes to my music, it is playing in the background. I can't hear it. I only have my recording software playing my desktop audio at from what it looks like to me, a low volume. But if it's too loud, please let me know, and I will tweak that because I'm still learning this thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. So we have 1, 2. What are you doing? We just started. How are you already nodded? It's not very nice. It's not part of the plan. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I get to my 7th one, I'm going to go double check I have 7, because when it comes to a pattern like this, because if anyone out there's played Minecraft, you know that Minecraft is all cubes. It's all grid. So everything is usually even in its blockiness. And if we missed something up here, it's going to mess us up for the rest of the project. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, it looks like we have the right number. For those of you that have never been here before, welcome to Critter Stitchin stream, where we craft lots of random stuff, nerdy and otherwise. I talk to my creations, I talk to you. Occasionally it is the same thing. If you've been here before, you've noticed that I'm trying a new thing. I have a schedule that I'm going to try working with at the bottom of the page. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Monday, we're going to do a cross-stitch project. On Wednesday, we're going to do crochet. And on Friday, we're going to be doing either date night gaming with Captain Kyle Games, or we're going to be doing achievement hunting, because I'm a big fan of video games. If you can't tell by the random things I've been making recently, but big fan of video games. But I'm also a giant fan of 100% completing video games and watching my gamer score increase, because I'm a big fan of achievements, trophies, whatever, which either faction wants to call them, because I feel like the gaming community and the ones that make them put achievements in there so that you can squeeze every bit of entertainment that you can out of a game. So currently, Captain Kyle Games and myself, we are playing Gears of War, because we have the remastered ones, and we're going through that because it's always fun to, myrtleize things as a couple. So we're going to do that. I also have We Happy Few, if you haven't heard of that one. It looks like it's takes place in an alternate reality post-World War II setup, is what it's giving me the feel of. And people in the main cities take a thing called joy, which kind of clouds your judgment and makes everything happy-go-lucky. If you can imagine any rendition of the Joker from Batman with that comically creepy smile, think Jack Nicholson Joker, it kind of makes you look like that and makes everything look awesome, even though in reality it's not. So I'm looking forward to that. Got my list of achievements printed up so I don't have to worry about constantly flipping out of the screen and finding them, because that is also something I enjoy, is having my achievements list nearby so that I can check them off manually, because it's kind of a an odd comfort to me to check things off of a list because I feel more accomplished. Let's see, so we've got, oh no, poop. I was not paying attention. That visor bit down here isn't a thing here. But that was from my design. I actually have the picture up on my desktop. You can't actually see. And that visor actually goes through there. So I think I'm actually good. So we're going to keep going instead of unworking that line. Because if any of you have played Dead Space, you know that Isaac has the two lines. Well, he has multiple lines depending on your mask, let's be real. Going across his face. So we are actually going to leave that there. And if he doesn't want it, we can always go back and tweak it. So nothing major. No biggie. Now what I'm doing here, my mother-in-law has her floss set up in a very different fashion than I do. She's got her floss braided and she has it on hoops. So it's braided so it keeps it all neat and tidy. And it comes with little plastic hoops. So whatever you've worked on, you can just loop through it. And you don't have to worry about unlooping everything here every single time that you need it. Whereas this is my collection that I have so far. And everything's wound up on these little guys. And any little scrap that I have that I'm working on a range of project for, I keep over here in the bottom right-hand corner. It's kind of a mess. But it's my mess, and it's an organized mess, so I'm fine with that. So, we finished that. And going off of the image I'm looking at for his icon, it's got two different shades of red on its face. Those reds are too similar. That's too purple. Now, if you want to start making your own collection of floss, that's fine and dandy. Go for it. I do suggest you put the numbers, whatever floss you go with. I'm not saying you got to stay with the same brand across the board, because let's be real, no one ever does that in the history of crafting. Put the numbers on it, whatever floss type it is. That way you can more easily tell which is which as you're continuing on your journey here. Because if you're not careful, it might come up and bite you in the bum later on. Okay, I've got a dark red, and then I have an even darker burgundy. And going off of our pattern that looks, again, this pattern is terrible color-wise, so let's ignore that a bit. But going off of the image that I have, which I'll probably find you that image so you don't just sit there and go, but you already have it up. What's up? Why? But Mama D, why are you doing it wrong? Because we are doing, this is the screenshot from the game that he gave me. And of course you can't really tell because it's a very dark image because Minecraft is a dark place. Lots of shades of gray, very dark across the board. So that's what we're going to try and mimic if we can. And again, worst case scenario, he doesn't end up using it as a logo. And we did a thing anyway. He can make it into a cool patch and put it on a jacket. Actually, that'd be a cool project for us to show you how to do that. Because that is a very doable thing when it comes to cross stitch. But for the next a few weeks, we're going to work on the new schedule I have set up and see what we can do. I will ask that you be patient with me because some days I may or may not be able to stream because we are entering into July and we are currently in baby watch mode because I am due August 9th, but a lot of signs are showing that we might not make it that far. So I will let you all know ahead of time if the schedule is going to change. But I will definitely keep trying to add after my son is born. But that is a nice segue into what we're going to be working on Wednesday for our crochet project, because I have finished the pattern and mock-up for his newborn photo shoot. Remember how I was talking about making a mudkip hat and diaper cover? I actually have it all whipped up. All I need to do is add the button to the diaper cover and he is good to go. It actually turned out pretty well. Once I get some good pictures of it, I'm going to put it up on my shop so that if anybody else wants to have a little mudkip, they can definitely have one for their little youngster. And once we get to the end of our current project, I will show you what it looks like so far, so you know what we're going to be doing come Wednesday. Unfortunately, I'll warn you ahead of time that crochet is not as, well, let's be real, depending on what you're crocheting, is not as quick as cross stitch. Because as you see, you can, once you get to the hang of it, you're pretty much booking when it comes to cross stitch. I mean, it's, you know, bottom left, upper right, and just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Once you get it, you're golden. Fantastic. It's kind of hard to muck it up unless you get really caught up with what you're saying and you completely forget that you're not supposed to do a line of red. But guess what? Cross-stitch projects, drawings, paintings, no one's gonna know you quote-unquote screwed up unless you tell them. And you folks are the only ones that know that I kind of messed up my original pattern. So as long as you don't tell Captain Kyle Games, I don't think he's gonna notice. We'll find out when we're done, won't we? Right now he kind of looks like a Speed Racer mask with the red striping. Or Herbie the Love Bug. But speaking of offspring, though, I'm not 100% sure where people, because like I've said before, I am a delivery driver for a car parts store. And I'm, you know, second kid, getting kind of round. And almost every time I go to certain garages, they look at me and go, "Oh, you're still working? You're still on your feet? You haven't had that baby yet?" And as a person who's 8.5 months pregnant and is finding it difficult to, you know, get out of bed and do my job because, you know, sciatic pain, usually pregnant, yada, yada, yada. It's like, yes, I'm still working. What do you expect me to do? I have bills to pay. It's like, I can't just stop working because I'm pregnant. That's not how it works. Not to mention, certain places don't give you, I mean, unless you're really high up in a company somewhere, we don't get paid maternity leave, children. And if you're anything like me, I personally went full-time at my job, specifically so I would have more hours to put money away for when my son did get here, because I knew that I wasn't going to get paid maternity leave. I wasn't going full-time to get paid maternity leave. So thanks to all my sweethearts at work that are trying to get me to talk to HR. It's like, oh, no, we can help you. We can get this, we can get that. It's like, honeys, no. I researched this before I went full-time. I know exactly what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. Thank you for trying. I mean, your concern is touching. But we don't need that much. But we also don't want to unwind the entire thing and have random strands running around causing a ruckus, do we? But if you look up top on my little guys, they have that same hole, kind of like these rings here, that you can loop through and keep all of your extra floss if you don't want the mess of all those little guys that you saw in my bottom right hand corner. Which, to be fair, I made those up before I bought my box. So let's recut the tip here, because that has a lot of extra fluff on it and it doesn't want to go through my needle. And I don't know about you guys, I don't want to sit here and try and do this with, you know, sharp pointy teeth, because that's just going to mess up my Aida cloth. But that is the only dark red that I need. So we're going to put that back in my handy dandy box. Now if you have certain projects that you're going to work on and you're just starting out, I do suggest getting a box, because not a box. Well, yes, actually, getting a box helps keep all your stuff organized. But I was going to say, unless you're doing a project that you know only needs a certain color range, I would suggest getting a collection of colors. Like, all of the colors you see in my box, I got all of those in a 105 skein collection from Walmart. So it gives you a nice starting point for your craft. It doesn't give you like every shade that you need. You do need to look about for other ones. Like, for example, the 105 skeins I got in my original, wow, words are fun today, in my original collection didn't involve any gray. I have no gray in that box. It's really, really heckin' weird. Which is another reason I had to go, you know, diving through my mother-in-law's material to see if she had any gray. And guess what? You know, shocker, she did. She had a buttload of gray and reds and blacks and blues and other delightful colors. So we are quit being a butt. The only issue is some of her floss hasn't been used in a while, so it's knotting up on me and getting tangled. So I need a bit more patience with it. And unfortunately, anybody who's known me longer than 5 minutes knows that patience is not my virtue. Scaring people that decide they want to be big old tough guys, yes, that is more of my virtue. Patience, not so much. Unless it involves my kid, I am not a patient individual. Let's see. Okay, and with this last little X, we'll have finished our deep red. Yep. Cool. You start to see what I mean. And I mentioned earlier that we have cut more Aida cloth than we needed. But if I have enough of, like I think I do, it's going to come out to be a nice, relatively square shape. And then I can teach you lovely folks how to make it into a patch. You know, the iron-on, stitch-ons that you have on jackets and such. Now this image is really wonky though. Let's see. See if I can get a better shot of it. Got so much. It's one bad thing about having a phone that you don't clear out periodically is it gets very, very messy after a while. I honestly think I still have pictures on here from Christmas of last year. And that's saying something. You can't really see it well, but that's Captain Kyle Games' Dead Space skin. Looks pretty nifty. It's unfortunately very dark. So we're going to do a little bit of guesswork when it comes to which color goes where. But I think I'm going to go with, let's see, that's a lighter gray to a darker gray. Let's do that. Use these puppies and go from there. Because since you can see, our image is not that big. We're not going to need a whole ton of any color. But whatever color we do use, we can always use the extra strands for the iron shovel. He requested an iron shovel and a diamond pickaxe for his background, which is fine and dandy. We can make that happen because we are awesome. We being you and me. Because again, if you can make it into a graph or make it into a grid, you can make it into a cross stitch. Very doable. No issues whatsoever. Let's see. Going off of this, and again, we're kind of doing some guesswork here. Oops. I'm going to do lighter gray on the inside and do a darker gray like outline, I think. Again, just because this blasted thing is so dark as it is, we don't want to lose our design by putting too many dark colors on top of each other. Because in the wrong light, you will lose absolutely everything you've worked on because you won't be able to see anything. And what's the point of putting all of this work into a nifty project if you can't actually see it? But we're going to do one side first with the color to make sure we like it, and then we're going to mimic it on the other side. And right now I'm doing a hodgepodge mixture of following the pattern I drew out along with the character model I have on my phone, which is an interesting challenge because I'm just trying to keep myself on track with which pattern has what colors going in where. When we're done with all of this mess, if we want it to pop even more, we're going to go back and we're going to outline it so that everything looks fabulous. Now when it comes to outlining, you want to wait until you're done with your project, or at least done with that entire area before you outline it, because outlining is supposed to be on top of everything. And if you outline like right now and we're still working in that area, your outline is going to look really jumbled because you've stitched over it, which is not what you want to do. You want it to look pretty and neat and tidy. But if you keep stitching, you're going to mess up all your lovely plans. And hopefully he enjoys it. We'll see when we're done. We will gift it to him and we will see if he enjoys it. And then we're going to do these two little boxes right here. But for Friday night video games and achievement hunting, I've been trying to decide what I wanted to play, because if I play a game I've already played and have all the achievements for, you won't see when things pop. So I'll probably have to play certain games under my husband's account so you can actually see what happens when you do certain things. Which would be fine for him, because in his words that means he's going to get more achievements, a higher achievement score, because my score is higher than his currently. So close to 50,000. So close. But I'm a big fan of action role-play games or puzzle games. So things like Elo Milo, for example. Puzzle games are fun. Or Dragon Age, Mass Effect. Anything Dragon Age and Mass Effect has it's a big winner in my book. BioWare in general. Not so much Anthem, because I don't do well with PvP or games where I'm... That's going to sound terrible. I don't do well in games where I'm forced to interact with other players, because I prefer going at my own pace. And I'm also, like I've said previously, I'm an achievement hunter. And if you're playing with people and they don't want to hunt and they just keep moving, certain games, you go too far and you know, the story keeps going, you can't go back. For example, Captain Kyle Games and myself, we are playing Gears of War Friday nights, as I've mentioned previously. If any of you have played Gears of War, you learned that you can't go back. There's no going back. Once you get to a certain point in any chapter, there's no, oh, I forgot to pick up those cog tags, or I need ammo in that last room. That's nice, buckaroo. Can't do that. Gotta replay that area completely to get back to that one spot to get that one thing you missed. Which is, for example, one of the frustrating things about playing with other people. Now, I personally don't have to worry about that with spouse. That's what I call him. I call him spouse. Because usually we are both hunting for the same thing. So we help each other out, especially in those games, especially if I tell him I'm looking for something. So he, I'm not sure if, puts up with is the right word, but it seems the right word right now. He doesn't mock me for my want to 100% complete things, even if I've had to play through the game 2 or 3 times to make it a thing. Because certain games that have difficulty achievements, you have to play through them a few times. And if you're lucky, you play through it once, you collect all your stuff, then you play through it again on a higher difficulty, and you can actually bring in your items from the previous game. So you have like end game weapons and content right out of the gate level 1. Which is why I'm really happy with Dragon Age Inquisition and how they added in the golden nug statue. That's a thing. If you don't know what the golden nug statue is in Inquisition, you first see this monstrosity after you finish the game and you start up a new one. He's chilling over there by Horsemaster Dennett's location, or Iron Bull's tent in the beginning at Haven. And he likes, and what happens with him is he will, the nug, the golden nug, not Dennett. The golden nug will link to previous games, again, after you've played it once. And it will give you, not so much the items, but it will give you all the schematics, all the weapons plans and armor plans that you've collected through your previous playthroughs. So you're sitting there, you can usually get to Haven by level 2. So you walk around at level 2 with end game, taking on Corypheus armor and weaponry, and just nothing stands a chance, because it's just awesome and a mess, because you are all powerful. It's pretty interesting wandering around in any area wearing a end game armor. Kind of reminds me of the episodes of Invader Zim, when Zim kept throwing moose plushies into the past to mess with Dib, and the suit that Dib was wearing in the present just kept getting more and more detailed because his father kept making it more and more detailed. Let's see, I don't need a little bit of black for the moment. So let me reach into my little pile of scrap mess over there. Because we're going to need black on our mask for this bit right here. You can see it there in my sketch, and here kinda on the photo he has the black line there in the middle of his visor. But we're not going to throw away our giant tail of black, because we're also going to need it when we do our text down here, because he requested his, quote, house colors of red and black. So we're going to do our little eye mask dealio, and then the mask part is done for the moment. Because remember, we're going to go back and we're going to outline it to make this puppy pop. We're not going to do it right now because we have to do all of this stuff around it. And those bits are going to be touching our mask. I know. If you don't like your food touching other food, how dare this floss touch other floss? So that's, I'm going to do that very, very, very last thing, is outlining the entire kit and caboodle. Because even, I mean, looking at it from your point of view, probably it looks a little muddled and you kind of lose what I'm doing because it's A, really small, and B, my camera's awful. But C, the grays that I used are very close in hue. I was trying to mimic the image he gave me as closely as I could. And you kind of lose the detail because the gray is so close. So that's why, again, we're going to go in when we're done and outline and see if that helps with the visibility issue. Or I can also turn on my other light so you can see a little bit better. And yeah, it's still kind of a jumble mess, but we'll get there. We will figure out a way to make it appealing. And if not, it's okay. We made a thing. We're awesome, and we made a thing. Not all things look how we thought they would when we started. And that's okay. The creative process is a weird, strange mistress. So, that's that. And for some reason, let's see if I can take this out of the hoop really quick and try and... Because you'll notice it looks kind of twisted. At least it does to me. So I'm going to try and straighten it out a little bit because it looks funny. There we go. Looks a bit better. Sorry if that's painful jingling in your ear. Stop making it all cattywampus. Sometimes my hoop just wants to be a butt. It's like you can't use me for work if I make everything look strange. That looks better. Cool. That was really bothering me. I thought I was having a stroke or something. Okay, so that's that. And we have the next bit is going to be our diamond pickaxe. And honestly, you can just look up diamond pickaxe Minecraft or just put in diamond pickaxe. Honestly, the internet knows what you want. I also have this image up on my screen over here that you can't really see, unfortunately. But it makes it easier for me so that I can see the colors more clearly. Let's get you out of the way because you are going to trip me up something terrible, honey. Here, go play over here in the corner. There, that's better. So, for this guy and our pattern here, we have a bit of the handle that's going to come out first. But if you can see it, the handle is 3 different shades of brown. The lightest one being in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one, and this is the middle. This one is the top, this one is the bottom, and just go with it. Because the thing is trying to make me alternate frequently, and I don't know about you, I don't have time for that. That just sounds like a headache and a half, and I don't want to do it. And plus, even with my craftiness, I enjoy having some flavor of uniformity. So we are going to make the handles look nice all the way down. Nice and uniform. And if Captain Kyle does not enjoy that, well then I guess he can just watch this stream and figure out how to make his own logo, huh? Not to be a butt to my husband, but It kind of gave me free reign on it. So that's what I'm doing. So, if you'll see here, the corner of my helmet goes directly into these two little corners. These two little boxes, which are the middle of the shaft. Shaft. We're 12. So we're going to do that real quick. We're going to finish it off and then go back and do the rest of it. Because we could definitely, you know, come over here, pull it all the way over here and keep going. But that is a lot of floss. That's at least 4 or 5 stitches. Of course, at the same time, logically speaking, if we tied it off, you know, we weave. If we stitched it underneath these back stitches to hold it down, we would use the same amount of floss. So, you know what? We're just gonna, no one's gonna see the back anyway. Especially if I make this into a patch, no one's gonna see the back. I mean, well, to be fair, you'll see the back because I like showing you guys what I'm doing, and so you relax a bit if you're working on your own projects and you go, but Mom and Dee, the back of my cross stitch is a mess. It looks absolutely horrible. No, it doesn't. Does your front look okay? Are your stitches neat? Are they neat and tidy? Well, yeah. Then you're fine. You're good. My dad, when he was alive, I used to do sign language for my church. Not so much the person standing up there signing for the person talking. I used to do sign language to music. Because I would get pretty righteous stage fright if I had to sing. Like quavering voice, all my notes coming out wrong, scared. But if I was signing, I was usually pretty good. Like, I was, not to brag, I was pretty baller. Because it's sign language. You sing with your hands. No one's going to sit there and say, oh, you need to be louder, or I can't hear you, because it's sign language. Well, my dad's way of making me feel less nervous before a show at the beginning, because after doing it for, oh gracious, how long was I in that church? Years. Years upon years upon years. After doing it for quite a while, I didn't need the pep talk anymore. But his pep talk usually was, don't panic, because no one really knows what you're saying anyway. You could be signing a grocery list. You could be signing a grocery list up there, and no one's going to know, because no one here knows sign language. Which, to be fair, I don't recall having anybody at that church that knew sign language, other than the woman that was teaching our little group. But I've also found it hard to believe that he knew absolutely every stinking person in our church, and whether or not they knew sign language based on, you know, him babbling at me. So yeah, we just bipped and pulled that thread all the way around. But again, what do I always say? No one's gonna see the back unless you show them. And I've shown you, but that's okay. That is absolutely fine in my book. The back of my work can be a mess. I like the front. That's all that matters. But we don't need that one anymore, so we're going to put that over here to the side so we don't lose it. Stop. Stop scratching. And yeah, you might look at this and go, but hey, you only have one here, but the other side has 2 Yes, yes, I'm aware of that. But to line up and make this a perfect square, this shaft had to be a little smaller. And plus, not all shafts are the same size. Her. We're children. That's fine. Now we're going to take this one, figure out how my mother-in-law wound this. So how many threads is that? That's 4. Okay. It's not terrible. Cool. Also, sorry, no, that is 3. Also keep in mind, if you are using somebody else's floss or their materials, please try and be respectful of their stuff. Like, I'm trying my darndest to not mess these up too terribly, because I know I'm going to have to give these back to my mother-in-law, and I don't want her to stop lending me stuff, because it really helps me out. So if you borrow anything from other people when you're trying to work on your craft, whether it's floss, yarn, hooks, needles, patterns, please be respectful. Please return it in the same condition you got it, if not better. Because that's just how I was raised, honestly. Be polite. Don't be a butt. If it's not yours, give it back. Let's see. I'm convinced the part that I'm going to mess up on this project is going to be the handles of these, the pickaxe and the shovel, just because I don't play Minecraft. My husband has tried to get me to play Minecraft, and he was really, really excited, like, the one time he got me to play with him. But Minecraft's just not my game. I mean, yes, it's creative, and it's open world, and you can pretty much do whatever the frig you want. And that's fine. That's fantastic. More power to you for enjoying that. It's not my shtick. Because, yes, I like creativity. I like being able to do my own thing. You know, I really, really enjoy roleplay games for that aspect. But I also kind of like having instructions. Like, if Minecraft had a quest line, or a, hey, you need to do XYZ. No, there's like no tutorials for Minecraft for me. It's just, go outside, do the thing. Good luck. Watch out for the green guys that hiss. I told you I was going to make a mistake. You see this guy right here? He has no X going across. So we're going to have to go back and fix that in a minute. Because that is a very obvious boo-boo. Frig. Just like the fact of, okay, you're in the right spot. You are not. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the same line. Ah, frig. I told you. I told you I was going to mess up somewhere. Well, we're just going to go with it. And it's still even. And for y'all that have been here long enough, you know that it can be a little bit of a mess as long as it's even. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just gotta tweak our design a smidge as we're doing what we're doing to keep up with what we've changed. I need to remember to come back with that golden brown honey color to get that little X right there, because that's an obvious oopsie daisy. And that I've got to fix. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It goes out 1 and down 1. See what happens when you make things for games that you don't understand. Or you get caught up in talking and you completely forget what you're supposed to be doing, like counting stitches. Oof. And when it comes to these guys, we want to keep our extra strands when we're done, because when we go through and outline it, we're going to outline it in the same color. Or you can outline the entire thing in black. You can outline the entire thing in neon purple. It's your project. You can outline it with whatever the frig you want. Go for it. Have fun. It is your project. But currently, this is my project, and it's making me crazy. So keep you right there, along with that, because that goes with you. Where did my little scrap of that gold color go? We're going to do our handy dandy one strand of floss trick, which, if you don't remember, we fold our little bit of floss in half, feed that through our needle, and if you can't do that for some reason, you know, whether it be eyesight related, your needles being a butt, your floss is being a butt, you can easily use a threading tool. No one's going to judge you. Whatever you need to do to make your craft work for you, go for it. I personally don't have a threading tool. I had one. I have no idea where it went. Knowing my luck, a dog probably took it. Looking at you, Riley. For those of you that don't know, Riley is our German Shepherd Roddy mix. She's a sweetheart, but she looks like someone took the head off of a German Shepherd and shoved it on a Rottweiler's body. So it's got that nice angular German Shepherd head. The ears, one of which does not stay up unless she's alert, which is funny. But she's got the thick body and booty of a Rottweiler. And whoever her owners were before us docked her tail. So she's got a nubby, which she's gotten better at wagging, which is a plus. Riley is a rescue from, was it Big Hearts, Big Paws, Big Paws, Big Hearts? One of those. When we first picked her up, the foster mother gave us her backstory about how Riley's previous owners had never had dogs before. And they thought, unwisely, that a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix would be a good first choice for a dog. And we got her when she was about 6 months old. And we get there, she's very skinny, because anybody who's ever had a big dog will tell you, big dogs are kind of always big dogs, but they start off small, and then they get to the size of my legs are too big for my body. They haven't grown into them yet, and everything is just mid-growth spurt. Think of your gangly teenage stage. That's where she was when we found her. And she was just running loops through the foster mom's yard, and I'm watching her run, and in my head I'm like, her first owners are stupid. Who in their right mind, who's never owned a dog in their life, would go, I want a dog that has the energy and intelligence of two giant breeds? It logically didn't make sense to me, because I come from a family of boxers. My mom and my dad used to do the show circuit with boxers, like as their main job, because that's not good for anybody involved. But like my mother's mother would show boxers, so my mother wanted to do that too, and we did for a bit. She did pretty well with Kona, her main man. He's so pretty. But boxers have kind of been what I've ever had. I've only ever had boxers. And when the boxers that we had passed away, not at the same time, thankfully, within a few months of each other though, because they'd grown up together, and when their buddy passed, the other passed, and it was depressing. But got Riley because my husband wanted a German Shepherd. I've never had a German Shepherd before, but I didn't. Sure, cool. I like big dogs. Let's get it. Let's go for it. And I found Riley, but I just thought, who in their right mind, who's never had a dog before, thinks I want to get a Rottie German Shepherd? You don't know how to deal with hyper dogs and dogs that are smarter than you. You might want to think twice about getting a giant dog. Just giving you my 2 cents there. But she's a sweetie now. She will wiggle that nub, and she loves sleeping on our daughter's bed. That little girl has nothing to worry about when it comes to, any bad juju coming her way. But she also keeps my dog under wraps, which is good. Because Stormy, full name, Stormageddon Dark Lord of All, for all my Doctor Who fans out there, she was the pup that we adopted after my boxer passed away. Because I've never not had a dog, so I needed a dog when my boy passed, because the empty house sound was depressing, and along with the fact that our remaining boxer at the time wouldn't play. He was just depressed as all get out, so we had to get him a friend. and I was going through trying to find boxer mixes. So I found another shelter on the opposite side of the state. Can't be easy. And she was described as a boxer mix. No idea what she was mixed with, but they just said that she and her siblings were a boxer mix. Okay, cool. And she was, oh goodness gracious, she was little. If memory serves, she was like 6 weeks old. She was the youngest I'd ever seen advertised. And her story was a bit more heartstring pulling than Riley's, because Stormy's story, at first thing, we actually were adopting her sister, Rosie, but they tried to spay her at 6 weeks, and little Rosie did not wake up from that surgery, so that was one blow. That was depressing. So then they said, well, she has a sister and a brother. We wanted a female, so we went with sister, and we were told that they were going to wait until she was older before trying to spay her again, because they didn't want history to repeat itself. And, you know, I'm right there with you. Totally understand that. That makes sense. That looks the exact same to me. You don't have a number, do you? No, you do not. 943. Cool, you are the same thing. That is fantastic. Are you the same thing? No, you are 958. Spiffy. Cool. That'll make our life a little bit easier. Anyway, so we had to wait a bit longer to get Stormy, because their payment was, we'll guarantee that they're fixed and up to date on their shots, all that jazz. Cool, no worries. So we go pick her up, and this delightful woman tells us Stormy's story. Wow, words are fun today. Stormy's story and her siblings' story was this woman, older lady, went into a vet's office with a box with puppies in it and told them that her, there's lots of swearing in this story, so I'm just not going to do that because I'm not sure who's watching. Her blank daughter came back from blanking college with this stupid blanking dog that was pregnant and had blanking puppies, and you can kind of get where I'm coming from, that mom was not thrilled. And I don't want these blanking puppies, and if I could put my daughter and her blanking dog in this box and give them to you, I would. Well, the vet's office, the lovely ladies worked up front, told her politely, it's like, well, ma'am, we're not a shelter. There's a shelter down the street. We're a vet's office. And tried to give this very angry woman directions down the street to where she could take these puppies and somebody would happily adopt them. And this woman, this peach of a woman, got up in their grill and told them, listen, you either take these puppies from me right now, or I'm going to go put this box right in the middle of the effing street, and when some car hits them, they're going to bring them into you anyway. To which these receptionists went, okay then, and took the box and went on with their day. Fast forward like a week, give or take, and this delightful person went to her friend's house. Her friend, she had given like 2 or 3 puppies to this friend. to try and get rid of them. I think there's like 5 puppies total. This friend took said puppies and had them chained up in the backyard behind an old derelict refrigerator. Just, thick, heavy chains around the neck in the backyard. Apparently, this was a step too far for the crazy lady that was going to put puppies in a box in the street. She took the puppies from this person, from this friend, took them back to the same vet that she'd threatened previously, and as soon as the receptionist saw her come in with a new box of puppies, they went, "Oh, yes, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you," took the box, and then the woman just stormed back out, because they knew exactly what kind of person they were dealing with and what she would do if they didn't just take the box. And Stormageddon, my sweet little Stormy, was one of the pups that had been chained up in the backyard behind a refrigerator. And strangely enough, she is a chipper little thing right now, and she loves to cuddle. And I'm convinced she was part cat, because she will curl up on the couch behind your head. I also don't know what she actually is, because she does not have a boxer muzzle. She does not have a boxer build. We have no idea what she actually is. We just know that she likes to play. She's very fast, and if you're not careful, she'll get under the fence and into the front yard in a matter of seconds. So heads up. The spouse likes to say that once we win the lottery, we're going to get both dogs DNA tested to see what they are. And it's like, yes, dear, okay, whatever you say, sure. Well, both girls are now fully grown. Little Stormageddon's kind of topped off at about 35-ish pounds, give or take. And Riley has topped the scales at, oh gracious, I think she's at 89 last time I took her to the vet, give or take. And they will run each other ragged, and it's fantastic. And if you look at what I'm working on here compared to my pattern up here, I forgot completely these 3 little bits right here. So I'm going to have to go back with my brown and fix that. But no biggie. It's all good, man. And for those of you that are curious, I am still working on the mushroom commission, so depending on what I have project-wise, we might be working on more mushrooms next Monday, because it is taking up a lot of time to make this thing. And we're coming up on over an hour for this stream, so I'm going to cut you guys loose soon, and I will post photos of our completed logo when it's done. I still gotta do that little X, shovel, text, and outline this entire thing, which can be a bit tedious, and I know that a lot of you lovely folks have other plans, and it's getting late. So I'm going to pause this for a quick second, since we have finished our dark outline for our diamond pick. I'm going to tie that off. Save the strand, because you're going to need it when we do our outline, which actually I'm going to do this, where I'm going to come over here. Because if you want to, if you don't want to completely undo or tie off your work, you can do this, where you can do a little bit of a stitch and it keeps your color out of your way, and when we come back we can just undo it here in the back and then pull it out from underneath all the other pieces that you're working on, and we can outline with what's already there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this off to the side, and I will show you what we're going to work on crochet wise, because I've designed and worked up Mudkip hat. Got a little fin, got his little eyes, his little cheek stars, and again, I haven't put the button on yet, but our little diaper cover with his little tail. And the button is going to go in the middle here, and it's going to wrap around like this. So when he's wearing it, he's got a little Mudkip fin. So Wednesday, we're going to show you how I started making that up. It's going to be a bit longer because crochet isn't as easy or as quick as cross stitch. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to keep working on this. I will post images when it's completed. To you, my dears, have a good evening. Sleep well and enjoy your Tuesdays. We'll see you later.